TC Weather Lab. Here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back and happy Friday, everybody. It looks like what we had today is what we're going to have going into the weekend. If you got to cut the grass, do anything outdoors, plan on morning hours versus afternoon, because we all know with that daytime heating, scattered showers and storms kick up around midday and then they continue into the afternoon. And by this time, things are quieting down and it's rinse and repeat as we go into next week as well. So let's take a look at the big picture across the Bayou State this afternoon. This is an 18-hour loop here showing fair to partly cloudy skies this morning. Then the showers and storms kicking in this afternoon, bubbling up across the area, now dissipating across the region as well. Power Doppler HD, the local Doppler radars indicating the storms firing up. They were most populated over the central and eastern portions of Acadiana over toward the Atchafalaya Swamp this afternoon, but things are quieting down as we continue to see the same trend. Still some lingering heavy showers up toward northernmost Vernon Parish and then just north and west of Rapides as we get into Grant, way up there. Farther to the south and closer to home, we're still seeing patchy light rain from Port Barre down through the Cancton area, also Sunset, Grand Coteau, but those light sprinkles are diminishing. Mostly dry in Lafayette Parish now, a sprinkle or two there, and the rains that have been quite steady across portions of St. Mary Parish continue to shrink, although I do think it's going to be on the rainy side in Franklin, at least for the next half hour, 45 minutes before things finally wind down. Here's the enhanced satellite imagery showing pretty much popcorn showers and storms across the area this afternoon. I would expect a little bit more of the same tomorrow. However, it's a little tricky forecast. It's a little bit of a drier, more stable pocket right here. That may try to slip in from the northeast. So we'll go with slightly lower rain chances tomorrow, but probably not much that is going to make a difference in your daily routine. Then we get into the tropics. Don't see anything of interest. A little blob here in the Gulf of Mexico, but no concerns. An upper level low here by Florida, no concern. A little bit of a disturbance here that has the National Hurricane Center talking about it, but I don't think that's going to be a concern. And then farther to the east we go. We have Tropical Storm Florence and two new depressions upgraded by the National Hurricane Center. So we have Tropical Depression number 8 by the African coastline. Then we have farther to the east Tropical Depression number 9. This is the one that's going to be interesting for us. And then near-term interest is going to be Tropical Storm Florence. That system, although still a tropical storm and it may be that way for another day, it is expected to become a hurricane once again. 65-mile-an-hour winds with Florence, but watch what happens. It gets a more favorable environment as we get into early next week for more intensification. And along about next Wednesday, the National Hurricane Center has this storm back up to a Category 4 status. And look what direction it's kind of pointing in, perhaps somewhere along the east coast of the U.S., and I'd watch this anywhere from, say, Georgia all the way up through the northeast. So this is going to be a close one. If we take a look at the extrapolated, the longer range tracking models that go beyond 5 days, you can see that there are a number of issues with this system somewhere perhaps over the mid-Atlantic, so that one is going to garner a lot of attention down the line. Meanwhile, Tropical Depression number 8 by the African coastline becomes a tropical storm later this weekend, eventually a hurricane, but if we extrapolate through the long-range spaghetti plots, we think this one's just going to stay an Atlantic storm, so no issues there. Then Tropical Depression number 9, well, this one's going to be moving due west over the next 5 days, will eventually become a hurricane, more than likely stronger than a Category 1 storm when it gets a little bit closer to the easternmost Caribbean. And then what's going to happen after that? Well, we take a look at the longer range spaghetti plots, and they're kind of split, but we do favor a trek toward the western Caribbean. We'll look at the European model and perhaps the GFS model coming up tonight on Acadiana's news channel at 10. So you're going to want to tune in or set the DVR for 10 o'clock tonight so you can see what's happening. Near term through tomorrow morning, relatively quiet. Scattered showers and storms kick up tomorrow afternoon, and then they'll be moving across Acadiana. This is about 40% coverage, but if you get a storm in Lafayette, that hits 80% of our audience, and then everybody's yelling at the weather person going, darn you, Rob Perillo. As we go into Sunday, more of the same. I think we'll see more activity than shown on the RPM model there. So things quieting down tonight, mid-70s 70s your low. Tomorrow we get up to 90 for a high. Afternoon storms once again at 40%. And then as we move down the line and get into the next 5 days, we'll notice rain chances still above normal through mid next week. But by the end of next week, we think rain chances come down a little bit, but not by a whole lot. No fronts in the horizon and no tropical systems on the horizon, at least in that 10-day forecast. TD number 9 we'll keep an eye on. The next named systems are going to be, let me get it right, Helene and Isaac.
Yeah.
Which one will be which? Will it be TD8 be Isaac? Well, we'll find out by the weekend, more than likely.
All right. Darn you, Rob Perillo. Thanks. Still ahead tonight.